Hey, what's up, gamer? Give me a second here while I'm just catching up, bro. Getting everything set up here. Commanders beat the Lions. Right on. I'm not much of a football guy, but that's a big lead because I know the Lions have been having a good year. Oh, what's up, Paul's Way? How you doing, brother? All right. Hope you're having a good night. I'm going to be tying up some dry flies today. I saw a recent video that YouTuber by the Outdoors Boys put out, and he was mentioning some caddises, and so I was trying to redo my learning on how to dry some caddises, so that's what I want to be kind of practicing on. I'm glad because I'd rather the Chiefs play the Commanders in the Super Bowl than the Lions and Chiefs. I'm a Chiefs fan. Oh, right on. What's going on, everybody? Anyway, I was saying I tied up a bunch of these dry flies here, so I'm going to be tying up a few more just so I can kind of get my hands used to them again. I don't tie very many dry flies. I'm a fly tying kid. Right on, man. Well, then this is definitely a fly you should know or should at least have in your tackle box for sure. Anyway, the way I've learned to do this fly, trying to make it so you guys don't rattle around too much there, is you're going to want to leave at least 2 hook eyes back is where you want to start your thread there. On nymph poppet emerger fan. Nymphs are sweet, man, especially for wet flies and still fishing. Nymphs are the way to go for sure. I tie up kind of my own version of one. I won't do tonight, but maybe in another video I'll do. They look something like this. And these things are pretty killer. And they're all resin too, so they last a long time. I just got back into tying flies after a number of years of not doing it. Man, it's been way more difficult than I remember. Yeah, man, you and me both. I put all this stuff away a couple years back, but now, I guess a year ago now, and then I watched a guy here on YouTube by the name of Vilgren's Pit Stop, and he was tying flies on YouTube, and I just remembered how much fun I was doing it. Typically, I make like salmon and steelhead jigs, but like I said, I saw that one video, and I was like, I forgot how much fun I have making dry flies. But anyways, I'm gonna get back into it. This would do well on a Tenkara rod. Oh yeah, elk-tailed caddises are, like I said, if you don't have any other, if you don't know what dry fly to use an elk-tailed caddis. All right. Hey, gamer, if you get a minute, can you let me know if my music is all squared away and it's not too loud or anything like that? I got a bunch of new kind of recording equipment, so I'm trying to get better at it. Make it a little bit better for you guys too, as the viewer. Anyways, we're gonna tie in that copper wire near the back there. And then we're gonna grab, I use polydub because I'm not very good at tying in dubbing material, or making dub noodles is what they're called. So polydub is a great way to kind of give yourself a little bit of leniency when it comes into that fashion. So anyway, do some wax in. Yeah, same here, man, with the annoying winter. This is where I spend. Yeah, I won't be on the tying bench much when it comes to actual summertime, but in the wintertime, this is where you find me. All right, I put in way too much dub there. Let's pull some of that out. It's going to be somewhat interesting because the camera's right there, but we're stand by here. Let me pull away just a second. There we go. And then we can kind of double back and build up the body near the front here. And you got a nice caddis body there. Ohio caddis and mayfly baetis are invasive in Miami County. I did not know that, but I mean, you know, everything imitates anything that gets eaten from fish, so you know, maybe it's something that they'll bite in your area. It's a pretty popular one for up north too, for in Alaska and whatnot, for Arctic char and stuff like that. We have a polar vortex coming this week, so I'm not going ice fishing till the weekend. I don't want to be out in -40. I do not blame you there, man. That sounds cold. What's your favorite nymph pattern? Man, that's a good question. I use a variation. The way that I fish, it's still water fishing, but I have my own variation where I'm on my boat and I'm still trolling with regular trolling gear. But then I use my fly rod and I cast off the bow, and I'm basically using a mixture of both techniques where I'm letting the fry cast in front and I'm working it like I would a river, where I'm letting it swim past me. So I don't have quite as long as a drop down into the water, but because I usually do this around like opening day of the lakes and whatnot, the fish seem to be near the top anyway, and then I just use a 2-finger pullback system to then use usually a nymph like this one here, and pull it back towards me, towards the boat. And sometimes this will produce a lot more than a lot of other flies that I use, but another common one that I use is some sort of weighted green woolly bugger, like this one here, which is a fuzzy woolly bugger is what they call this one. But anyway, like I said, I see the caddis fly get mentioned quite a bit, and so usually when I'm at my bench I tie just stuff that I feel like tying. Don't let go, don't let go. This is a little bit more challenging because I got this camera way up on here so you guys can see a little bit better of what I'm doing. Gonna work that copper all the way back up. Trying our best not to catch some of those fibers as we do it. And then tie it off there. And we'll helicopter the rest of that out. Got a few hairs there, but that's all right. Fish won't care. Then I'm going to work a little bit more of a thread body here, so that way I can have something to lay that caddis into, or that elk hair, sorry. What did I do with the elk hair? You're not bugging me at all, man. I come on live to chat with people, so yeah, I love it when people chat away. So sorry for bugging too much. You're not bugging at all, by the way. But I may tell you a good fly pattern that I tie. Yeah, absolutely, man. Like I said, I don't do dries very often. Tonight's an exception. Most of my stuff is salmon jigs and such. So don't judge me too harshly. Put my hair in the stacker. Oh, thank you. Love you. My wife just brought me tea. All right. I'm gonna go right about there. I'm gonna give it a little extra there. How about that? One loose wrap. This is where it can all go wrong. I have snapped my line at this part more times than I'd like to admit. I want to get it tight. I don't want to lose and leave it loose, you know? There we go. Pull that back. Start creating that head. I got this nifty little tool too. Where'd I go with it? Okay, well, I had a nifty little tool. Ah, here it is. Put this like this. Comb all those back so I don't have to deal with those anymore. And create that head. IDK, if you do request or anything pretty much for much of a custom, you know what I mean. I do requests, right? Anything pretty much of a custom, you know. I mean, I'll if you can give me the recipe in chat form, I'll if I've got the stuff for it, I'll give it a shot, man. I'm by no means any kind of professional at this. I just do it the way I do it, and I hope that more or less my videos are reaching people that are entry level or something of that nature, because I can feel, I didn't want people feeling how I felt when I first started getting into this, where it can be a little bit daunting at beginnings, when you're getting into fly fishing or fly tying or anything like that. It doesn't need to be. And fly shops and fly fishing, fly fishers and stuff like that can be, you know, a little bit off-putting as well to a new angler. So that's my hope with most of my videos that I put on the internet and stuff like that. Not even necessarily fly fishing too. I do all kinds of fishing. Fly fishing is just one part of it. If you guys don't mind, because I see a few new faces in this chat tonight, throwing a like on that stream for me, or this stream, helps me out immensely. That way I can kind of get out there and, more people get to join tonight. So it's a similar to a fur ant, but the hackle's rubber legs. Okay. Is the back and the front of the ant, do you like that to be like dubbing material, or do you use like resin and build up the balls with resin? Here we go, y'all. That there is the elk hair caddis. One of the most common and most deadly dry flies out there. Very simple too. Great for entry fly fishing. I use dubbing because you can fish it as wet or as dry fly. That's a good point. Okay. All right, I'm gonna do a couple more of these elk hairs just so I can keep my bearings on that, because I got everything out. But then I will definitely do that before I end the stream tonight. So, give me 1 second too. I had this nymph up too. This one's pretty buggy. The grizzly seems a little long for it, but it does great things in the water. But yeah, that's a really nice one as well. That one, and then I've tied up your typical midges as well in the green, but kind of jig style. That one's pretty buggy, but you get the gist. And then there's the non-buggied version, which again is another popular one. But those ones that I just showed off, my version of the mop fly, which is another controversial one, which is this one here, and then the weighted version of it, which was this one here. That plus San Juan, quite a few different woolly buggers that are all in this fly box. Plus, this folds over to the other side. I've been filling these up with the flies that I make on stream. And once we hit the 500 mark, I'm going to do a giveaway. And this whole box with all the flies are going to be given away to somebody. So make sure you guys are subscribing if you want a chance to do that. I just added all of those elk hairs to it. We're going to add a couple more. Use a size 14 hook, wrap black thread, then go to the hook bend and get dark gray dubbing and make a ball bulk at the bend. Right, so like a ball and a ball. Okay, and then wrap your thread to the middle of the hook and make a long thread loop. Yep, and then you put, I'm assuming, rubber legs in there. I can't afford a fly rod, and I live in Florida, so it would be useless. Not necessarily, man. Most of the flies that I put in that fly box, I did exactly for the same reason of the woolly buggers. These ones here, I will use these, I swear to you, on a regular spinning rod for trout. They love these things. Just with a little bit of weight in front of them, or you can hang them off a bobber, or you troll them off a boat. Sometimes I even put them behind a wedding ring, and I win quite a few fish with that as well. The San Juan worm, I mean, that's just a simple one that anybody can use. You don't necessarily need to use a fly rod to use flies. So. What is the best? Oh man, I'm not tying here. I'm more answering questions. You guys got a lot of them tonight. I love it. Like I said, if you guys don't mind throwing the like on the stream, it helps me out a lot. But what is the best fly for bass fishing? I would say the best one that I make for bass fishing would be a variation that I can't take credit for. It's actually by Spirit Fly. He's on YouTube as well. He makes this one here, which is a sculpin. Thank you, Tylen, by the way, for the subscription, man. That just popped up on my screen. It doesn't always, so if you subscribe and I don't call it out, I do apologize, but that one popped up, so appreciate it, brother. This is a sculpin. This is a tungsten-weighted sculpin. It's got two little rubber legs that come up on either side. Not rubber, I'm sorry, fur legs that come out on either side. So when this is in the water, it spreads out, but you can run this like you would a normal jig. So even if you're not using a fly rod, like I said, this is a great one for it because if you know how a jig works, this thing is awesome. Charlie, you sub, appreciate it. I thank you so much. We're like I said, we're getting to that 500 mark, so I appreciate everything. But anyway, this is a great one for it, and it's pretty easy tie, and he's got a great tutorial on his YouTube channel for it as well. So that's a great bass fly. Mason Brown, what's up, man? What is my favorite fly? Hands down, if I am in a need food situation and I need food and all I have to get is a fly out, it's gonna be some variation of a woolly bugger. I mean, we're just talking just as needed. If I needed to catch a fish, that's what I would throw on there. But if I had the opportunity, I really like these green ones. They tend to do well for me. But I got some new heads for these, so I could tie up a few new of those ones that I really want to do. Thanks, Mason. Mason, you subbed as well. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Up to 8 likes. Thank you, guys. All right, I'll get to tying here instead of just jibber-jabbing away. So you guys got something to watch here, other than a fuzzy screen. Said I want to do one more of these elk hair caddises, and then Dingle wants me to try a ant. Like I said, without me doing it at least a couple times on my own, I'm pretty novice, but we'll give it a shot. The first one for me. Hold on a second, guys, while I turn down the heat in this room. You've never used a fly before? What are some quick tips? Really, the only thing I can suggest to you is to start with wet flies. I feel like a lot of people, when they first jump into fly fishing, they want to try dry flies, and the situation where a dry fly is useful can be kind of far and in between. So you gotta know what to look for before you start using dry flies. And in my opinion, wet flies can produce fish pretty much most of the time. So, and I want people, if they're ever going to be out on the water or trying something new on the water, to start with something successful, and then kind of work your way into some of the more obscurity stuff. Like starting with a Tenkara rod or anything like that right out of the gate is definitely not something I recommend. But I'm telling you guys this because I learned from this. So. What is the difference to a dry and a wet fly? What kind of fly would be great for bluegill? Again, wet flies. Wet flies, wet flies, wet flies. Wet flies are anything like a woolly bugger, like this one. This is actually one of my more favorite ones to tie. And any kind of small nymph or jig head or something of that nature. These are all wet flies. What that means is they're just meant to sink under the water and be under the surface of the water, like this jig and like this sculpin here. They're all meant to be underneath the water, and you can work them like a jig. You can do all kinds of stuff that you normally know how to do if you used any kind of regular fishing tackle. So, Mason Brown, appreciate you hanging out, buddy. Yeah, if you subbed, I'll catch you in the next one for sure. Thanks for hanging out, though. The wrap off the rest of the loop and then cut off the loop and then get more dubbing and make it another dubbing bulk and then finish the eye of the hook. I'm going to try off of your description. I may screw it up, but it might be funny for you anyway. But we'll give it a shot, dude. Oh, this is a really sharp hook. Every time I've tapped it on that hook, it's wanted to cut it. Gotta be careful here. I want to create a good thread body on this one. How about a pike pattern? You know, I don't have any pike in my area, and I don't really know how to tie many of those, man. You got me there. I do apologize. That might be a good question. Well, no, I guess he does a lot of dry flies too. Spirit flies is who I was referring to there. But he does a lot of dry flies and trout flies, that kind of stuff. Paul's Way, you subbed. Heck yeah, man. And I threw a notification hoping to actually be notified when you go live. Yes, and I do. I do it normally on the weekends, and I usually put some sort of notification about 30 minutes before I go live, so you guys can kind of make sure you catch it when you can. But then again, thank you again for the sub, brother.
Available to Apple Card owners, subject to eligibility. Apple Card and savings by Goldman
Oop,
Sachs Bank
sorry
USA.
for the ad, guys. I try and block these when I can. All right, now we're gonna put in that poly dub. Again, poly dub, if you're new to fly tying, or if you're not new like me, but you're just not good at it, poly dub is a great way to save yourself from dubbing mistakes. And I'm no good at dubbing. It's probably my one weak side. That's why I'm trying to tie more of these elk hair caddises here, or at least dry flies, because you don't really use much dubbing. You do, but not a whole lot when it comes to wet flies. This is so awkward with the camera. Oops, sorry guys. I subbed and threw the. Oh, sorry, I read that one. Pike flies are normally on big streamers. Yes, yeah, that much. Oh, you know what? Another one. Hold on a second. Another fly fishing homie here. You guys might see him pop up in my chats every once in a while, but he goes by the name of David Kia Flies. Anyway, he makes these. He lives out of Hawaii, and he sent me a few of these. These are his streamers that he makes in Hawaii. These things are pretty rad. But this actually is pretty stiff. He sent me these because he wants me to try them for steelhead and salmon. But they're pretty stiff, and so I think they'd hang out good when it comes to a salmon. But that would be a good pike one, I think. He makes that one, and he made this one here. Yeah, this one got a little bulky on me, but I'm just going to let it ride. Like I said, I'm trying to get back into it. So my motto is each one is unique. Each one's going to be somewhat different than the last. I'll do great on dubbing on the last one, but you can. This is where I was saying that dubbing is not my strong suit. I probably gave it a little more on this one than I did on the last one, but that's all right. We'll let it ride. More or less, my main stuff that I make, I put them all away. The main stuff that I make are, like I said, twitching jigs for salmon and steelhead here in the Pacific Northwest. I catch pretty tanky king salmon and stuff like that in the rivers, more or less off of spin tackle than I do actual fly fishing stuff. But like I said, I gotten back into the fly fishing world like I used to. What's up, Oregon? Welcome, buddy. I'm trying to get my old hand back at dry flies, Bo, and it's an experience for sure. If you guys want a dope fishing guy to follow on here on YouTube, make sure you guys go check out Oregon Fishing Adventures as well. He's somewhat in my area, just south of me, but he catches some awesome steelhead. There we go. Helicopter that off. Pop the back off. That one turned out a little bit better than the last one I did. Got a macro lens for my phone because I was hoping that it would do a lot better of kind of giving you guys the view here that I'd want to give you. It looks like it's doing a pretty good job. You could strip the dubbing all the way back and wrap the wire so that it looks like it has a tail. Yeah, I could do that. This will be the last dry one that I do, these caddis, so we'll move on to something else after this one. It's freezing fucking cold. Yeah, man, it's not warm here either. I saw frost on all of the cars and the roofs this morning, so I am just trying my hardest to wait out the winter here, but I am not patient whatsoever. Brian Kennington, what's up, Dad? Is it better with the new vise? Heck yeah, it is, man. I love this vise. What's your biggest fish? My biggest fish it was actually caught this year, which was a 26-pound king. I got a photo of it on my Instagram. I'm holding up a bunch of them. But yeah, absolute monster I pulled in on a bait casting rod. That was actually made for bass. For the first time I did it, I didn't have the right rod because of the length that I wanted. So I used a shorter rod, which the only one I had was a bass rod, and I'll never do that again. I immediately went out and bought another rod. And these are coming in way faster. What is the best way to start tying flies? Best way to start tying flies, I would say, is there's a lot of cheap kits on Amazon that give you like a good starter. And then it gives you all the tools that you need to kind of get going. And it usually gives you a few basic materials like thread and dub and, a little bit of stuff like this to tie a few of your starter flies. And then just kind of work your way up as you go. I think the first investment after that starter kit would be, a good set of scissors, and then maybe a couple extra, bobbins. These things here. I've got quite a few at this point. So that way you don't have to keep rethreading if you're changing up lures a lot like I do. And then I just recently invested in this new vise. Not to say that you have to. There's a lot of people that tie way more flies and stuff than I do on a lot less of a vise. So I've even seen people do it on those clamps that you have in like your garage, those locking clamps. People tie on those as well. But like I said, if you can, and if you want to start just at the very basic, those basic kits online are the best way to do it. I'm in saltwater. Mine is 50-pound amberjack. Damn, dude, that's a big fish. Yeah, saltwater is a whole different ballpark than what I do. But 27 in a river when I was up to the water, it was about here. It was nothing to shake a stick at all, but it was nothing close to what saltwater guys can do for sure. Yeah, woolly buggers are cheap to make as well. You need very little material, and then you can make a lot out of the material that you get. What is the best fly for bluegill? I don't really use much flies for bluegill, but like I said, I would default to some sort of wet fly that would look similar to a bluegill jig or lure of some kind. You know, maybe something high contrast color, or maybe even a nymph. I don't really do that for bluegill much. Still here. I'm just tired. All right, man. Let me finish this one up, and then we'll give your aunt a try here. Let's see here. I put this is the elk hair. You notice that all these strands are different lengths. To straighten these up, we put them in this thing right here, which is called a hair stacker. And it's just like a tube that you put in your hairs like such. If I can get them in there. There we go. Drop them in. Give it a tap. And then it's got 2 cylinders. You just pull it out like that. And then I can pull my hairs like this. Now you'll notice, other than a few stragglers here and there, all those hairs are now nicely, neatly lined up. Pretty neat little tool. All right about there looks good. Let's see, the odds of me snapping it here are pretty high. I do a good job of snapping my line right about here. Didn't do it. Oh, but I crowded that hook eye, so let's see here. We're gonna use that nifty little tool I got. Where did I go with it? I gotta go. All right, Talon. Good hanging with you, brother. Make sure you subscribe so that way next time I go live, you can come back and hang out with me, man. Appreciated all the questions you had for me, and I will research some bluegill flies for you, and we'll make some on the next go around. Oops. I can see where you say it's scud. With those legs coming off of it, that would make sense. Oh, my hand shook right there at the last second. That was not good. I got a video coming out this week, and you'll see why I was tying this one up a lot lately. There we go. Elk hair caddis. If you want a dry fly in your box, any dry fly, this is the one. And I just love the way that they look, man. They just turn out just a pretty fly in general to look at. Oh, Oregon. Yes, it is an elk hair caddis. I was tying up a bunch. Hey, is that a Renzetti Master? No, it's a Renzetti Traveler, and I got it here recently. And I am It's like giving the kid that drove a Honda Civic the keys to a Bentley. Is what it really feels like. Is the best way I can describe it. This thing is freaking awesome. But I feel like I'm out of my element here, Donnie. Who can get the reference first? Okay. Well, that's enough of those. Those are all in the giveaway fly box. So now you got a pile of dry flies, along with everything else that's randomly in here. But we got streamers, we got some funky variations, we got some nymphs. Kind of an all-around weird box, but someone's gonna get this. Sorry, I keep bumping the camera. All right, let's see here. We're gonna go and do a fly now that Dingle wants us to make. Let's see if I can find a hook here that I want to tie it on. You guys are not allowed to judge me too harshly on this one. All right, we'll go with this one. The ant abomination. Absolutely. I'm probably going to mess this up, but we're going to give it a shot. I splurged years ago and bought the MDK vise. Oh, that one's pretty nice. Yeah, this is the full kind of blurred out version, but this is the purple one I got. I don't remember who it was that I saw that had this purple one that I didn't even know existed, and the second I saw it, I had to have it. But I love the purple one. It's my purple haze. All right, you want me to use dubbing, huh? Let's do this black thread. What is this? 140. Perfect. Oh yeah, I can't snap 140. We'll start the first. Yeah, we'll start the first one there. I haven't tied an ant in years, and I'm just going at it blindly. So we're just gonna run with it and see what happens here. Trying to see if I had some of that, like, I do have this, but I don't really want to use this. I was thinking about using something like that, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try and find some black dub here. I know I have some African goat. Yes, I do. Oh, no, I don't want goat. Do I have poly dub in black? I have ice dub. That's not going to do well for this, I think. Nor will anything other than poly dub. Oh, you know what? No, that's not going to do well. Stand by, guys. I'm sorry. Here we go. What about this? This will do it. We'll use some Adams fly stuff that I got. That'll work. It's close enough. Or do I give it a shot with that? No, that African black's not going to do well. Thanks, man. Where's my wax block? There it is. You want me to use dub after I've said multiple times I'm not good at dub. I don't know if it's the fact that I second guess myself or what about the amount that I'm putting on. This should do good though. Let's try this. It's super hard to do this with the camera right here too. I need to rub it back, but I need to stop pumping the camera so much as well. Let's give it another whirl of that. Really build it up. Is gray dub? Yeah, using gray. I had some black African goat, but the difference between the African goat and this superfine Adams fly, you can almost see it in the camera now that I got this micro thing. But you see how it's kind of almost like a brush in style, where this is more like hair. And so it's not gonna, this is made to make it real look buggy, like real buggy, flay out. Super fine stuff is meant to kind of lay in here nicely like this one is. Back off the camera just a little bit so I can do this real quick. There we go. Now we're getting a good ball going. That ought to do it. Okay. Rubber legs. I got the perfect thing for this. Look at this stuff. These are like round rubber legs. Do I want to do two on either side or just one, you think? Let's do one on either side. These rubber legs are pretty good, so thick anyway is what I mean to say. Dubbin hanging out right there. Use my fancy tool. Actually, I want to give it a few more wraps in this area. Give it kind of a blacked out body. Oops. Now we can do that last lump of dub. Make a thread loop. Oh, shit. Well, it should be all right. It'll be all right. I got the legs to lay out on all four ways, so they're doing this. And once I add that dub on the front, they'll really start to lay out. This tool, I have no idea. My wife, when she surprised me with the vise, she said, "I think you might use this thing." And I'm like, she's like, "I bought you a tool. I don't know if you know what it is." I'm like, "I have no idea what tool you could have possibly bought me." And she bought me this thing, and it's a neat little nifty thing to hold. Like, these guys are in the way. Instead of me trying to hold these back the whole time, I can just slide this thing over top, and it just kind of pinches everything down and tucked up out of the way. And I don't have to mess with it no more. Super nice. I was using it more or less for that bunny fuzz. Thing is sweet. Yeah, SMHAEN. It's pretty small for my big twitching ones that you see me make, but it's great for like stuff like this. I mean, it's like a third hand. I'm trying to do that without bugging the camera out too much. Well, not as good as I'd hoped, but not as bad as I imagined. Ooh, let's just finish this bad boy off real quick. But I definitely want to try a few more variations of this. I will definitely give this a look up. There you go, man. I gave it a shot. Normally, I'd use resin with this. I think this would be a great one if I used resin and blacked out the resin. I think that would fit more to what I use, but the dubbing is not a bad idea either. but it should still work. I may even shorten up those legs a little bit, but either way, I'm going to take this one, and it is going in the box. There it is. All right. Now, I wanted to get into doing some more woolly buggers because I got some stuff that I want to use for, like I said, my method of doing woolly buggers. Yeah, it was a variation that Dingo here gave me tips on there doing. So apparently you could use both, but if you, like I was thinking, like I was talking about earlier, is if you wanted to, I think my preferred method would have been to make the, instead of using dubbing, using resin, but that would definitely make it a full sinking or wet fly. All right, I got these bad boys the other day, and I really want to use these, but just want to point out. So I got some stuff that's really, really old. I got it like garage sale style, and it was from like the, I think, 90s, 80s, 90s, somewhere in there. This whole box of Cyclops eyes is what they called them back then. $2.25. Okay. Nowadays, this bag of beads here, $6.50. Crazy, man. Where is, there they are. So I cheat a little bit when I do flies. I cheat a lot when I make flies. I use stinger hooks. Okay, these are not your typical fly fishing hooks. I mean, they kind of are, but they kind of aren't. These stinger hooks, I use them for two reasons. A, I have a much wider gap, and I use barbs. I have a better ratio with these. I'm really hoping, because I suck at trying to figure out if these beads will fit on this, but I really hope and think they will. Let's see. Oh, yes. We are cooking with gas, guys. Oop. Look at that. Chartreuse. Chartreuse. K Fishing. Hang on. Wait a minute. K Fishing Pro. I'm K Fish, man. What's up, brother? Thanks again for the sub. Appreciate it. I even checked before I even started my channel. Anybody had K Fish? Thank you for the like too, by the way. Like I said, the like really helps the stream. Paul's Way. I used to use. I like to use Raven Specimen wide gap bait hooks. Yeah, man. I mean, again, use what you want to use to catch the fish that you want to catch. I mean, that's this hook that you see here is the exact hook that's on this fly here. Like I said, it can be considered a fly hook. It's just at the dry fly ones, and the because I'm catching stocky trout anyway. Like I'll use barbed hooks. It's not that big of a deal. I'm pretty good at popping them out and letting them free if I want to let them go. But you know, I do eat trout, so I do keep a few. All right, we got the black thread already lined up, so let's use that. And we'll do a Chartreuse egg sucking woolly bugger. Woolly bugger. Sorry guys, I keep trying to rip 140. It's like muscle memory. Then I throw everything to the side like that. Scientific Gamer, welcome back, brother. Spread the word. I hasn't tested it out yet. Bad snowstorm, but go ahead and tie my pattern if you want to catch fish. I will definitely try it, brother, for sure. Can you make a yellow chartreuse woolly bugger? You have time? That's what I'm doing right now, man. I mean, let's see if I have all the stuff to make it like yellowed out for you, bro. I think I do. Yeah, I got yellow tail. I know I got yellow, but I think yellow in the body might be a little much. We might offset it by using maybe a little bit of black or something like that, but I definitely have yellow saddle hackle as well. Yeah, let's use like some black. And tonight's just a night of
Doritos asked fans to make their
freaking
Super Bowl
requests.
commercials,
I dig it.
We are asking Super Bowl experts which they like best. Okay, let's watch.
Yeah, take it. Can we grab it? Okay. Give me 1 second here. My wife wants the heater from the I'm using here.
See what scholarships you may qualify for. Visit gcu.edu/myoffer.
Do you remember what the name of the tool that you bought me was? Okay. Everybody keeps asking me about this thing. All right. Ant Bomb, or AB for short. I dig it. Oh, hey, someone else was in here earlier asking about crappie flies. So that's actually good to know, man. Holy cow. Look at this. Look at that. Okay, so when I take one of these gigantic marabous, I don't know if other people do this, but this is something I definitely do, is I use the tail. I like using the tail, but I'm not obviously just going to, I can just keep it like that. It's going to be really thin. If you can take, you figured out? What was it? It's the Shaman Material Guard is the name of this tool, by the way. I got it from she got it from Dakota Angler and Outfitters. Anyway, like I was saying, I pluck off. There's some crap in there. These side ones, and then I stack them. You know, best of my abilities, that is. And then that way, when I tie in my tail, now I've got a much fuller, I'm not going to worry too much about those ones, much fuller tail. Yeah. Do something right about there. Get up there, bead. Anyway, that's just something I do. I'm going back through the chat here, so I'm a little bit behind everybody. I do apologize. When did I start making flies? Probably when I was a little kid. My gramps taught me how to make flies, and he made me. He didn't make like he taught me how to make them, and then I just kind of took off with it. And then a lot of times when I go visit him in the summertime, he had like a little cabin that was kind of offshoot from the house, and I'd go run to that cabin and just sit at his tie flying station and just start tying flies all week. The whole week that I was there, hanging out with my grandparents. They lived out in like the county, so there wasn't much to do on TV or anything like that, and so I'd just sit there tying stuff like this up all day long. That's how I started. I hope you catch something on it, Dingle. I hope you get some fish too. Yeah, for sure, man. No problem. If y'all want some more patterns, I'm stocked ideas for sure, Dingle. Yeah, come in anytime, and we'll throw in. I'll throw whatever you come up with on the bench for sure. Most of my content is trash and brain rot. Right on, man. Well, it's most of the internet nowadays, so it's all good. That's cool. Yeah. It was. I'm old school, so that's how I learned. Do you fly fish or do you sell them? I fly fish. I spin rod fish. I bass fish. I catch it all, man. I go for all kinds of different fish, and in the wintertime, I'm sitting at this bench tying stuff up because there's not a whole lot else I can do. Normally, right now, I would be out on the rivers fishing steelhead salmon, but my rivers got emergency closure this year, so I wasn't able to do that. So now I'm sitting at this bench, but it is what it is. You'll hear me say that about a half a dozen times on all my streams now because it's putting a burn on me. Especially I get to sit here and watch Oregon Fishing Adventures, where his rivers aren't closed yet, so he gets to go catch fish. The ones I want to catch, anyway. All right, where did I go with my? There it is. Okay, got a wire in. Let's get the chenille. I thought I picked up chenille. Did I not pick out chenille? No, I did not. I was going to. Let's do. Ooh, you know what might look actually kind of dope? I mean, we'll just stick with the theme here. It's gonna be real bright, but whatever. I'm having fun with it tonight. There's some elitist out there somewhere. Oh, you can't put chenille green with yellow. I don't care. Wrap that up. Oh no, not this again. I don't know why my music just has to do that terrible lag out thing. Okay, doesn't sound terrible. What do we got here? I'll be right back. All right, Dingle. It's probably going to be fly fishing this summer. Right on, man. Yeah. Definitely let me know how it goes for sure. I can put some more videos up and kind of try and see if I can't help it anyway. If you have any other questions or anything like that. I'm definitely going to fly fish a lot more this spring. Me too, man. Like I said, I'm bringing out all my old rods. I'm going to the Washington sportsman show, and then I'm going to be heading to the fly fishing show as well, and I'm going to be recording both those things, so you guys get to check out what those are like if you're ever interested in doing something like that, if you have them in your area. They're pretty fun to go to, especially in the off season when you got nothing better to do anyway. I like fly fishing for bluegill and bass. I love fly fishing for bass. It's probably one of my favorite other than trout. Oh, I let it go. Damn it. Dang it. Such a good wrap, too. I didn't use my bobbin holder, but that's all right. It's not going to be all right. It's really going to want to fight me all the way there. That's what having that arm is really nice about. So now you'll see my thread just kick out to the side like this. Now it's way out of my way. And I can thread this wire up and through. And I kind of seesaw it back and forth. Seems to be the best method I have come up with trying to not get as many of those hackles as I can. Why not? Let's get all the tools in here to make one woolly bugger. Whoops. I did not do a good helicopter there. There we go. As requested. I think I did that fairly well good justice. That is a chartreuse and yellow fly for sure. Only I could have done better is probably use my. Well, I guess I don't have yellow line, but that thing looks pretty good. Right on, Dingle. I'll check that out for sure. Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate it. I think this one in particular is probably going to make it into my personal fly box here. We'll use that in the springtime. Look at these gigantors I made way back in the day. Look at the size of that thing. This is what I typically tie. Looks good. Thank you. Thank you. Paul, thank you. That would work good for crappie here. Sweet, man. I'll yeah, let me I think you have me on IG. Maybe I'll send you a batch of something like that. Do you prefer a spinning reel or bait caster for bass? Depends on what I'm doing. If I am drop shotting, I'm going to be using a spinning reel. If I am punching weeds, I may still use a spinning reel. But if I'm going for like chatterbait, swim bait, anything like that, I'm using bait caster rods. I have a lot of them too. Maybe one of these times I'm kind of running out of battery here, and we've been going for a hot minute. But one of these times, maybe I'll kind of go through my rod gear and all that stuff that I go through. But I did shoot a video today about my bass bag. I have a pretty high-end bass bag that I think people might want to take a look at if they're doing stuff like bass fishing off boats and stuff like that. All right, one more because I want to try getting at the one that I was wanting to make. Satan, thank you so much for subbing, bro. Really, really, really appreciate it. We're getting there. We're getting there quickly, and I love it. Good to know, everyone. K-Fish, if you are live tomorrow, I will join. We can chat about some abomination patterns that I have. Hell yeah, man. Like I said, I mostly go on weekends, but I sometimes will do a stream about midweek. Depends on what I got going on and how it feels. But yeah, maybe we could do something midweek. I've been meaning to get on with scientific one of these times as well. That and another kid that hangs out here a lot, Logan. Just haven't it seems like my hours don't line up with a lot of the other people on here. You like spinning reel? I do too, man. I kind of forced myself to learn bait caster, and once I learned bait caster, I kind of switched back and forth. I used to be way more into bass fishing with largemouth, but I prefer fish with smallmouth bass now. Same here, Oregon, 100%. I started out with largemouth bass, but now I have definitely moved towards smallmouth because I just feel like the fight with smallmouth is so much more than it is with largemouth.
It's time, your time, not just to go back to school, but to come back and move
Everyone just calls you
forward in
Tan.
your
All right,
life.
well, I'll remember
Start
that for
your
sure.
comeback
Tan,
today
much
at
easier for me to say on
bluegill
stream, I'm
Diving.
sure. And Chad Reed, yes, it is a Renzetti Vice. It is a Renzetti Traveler. It is the purple version. I just got it here recently. And then if you follow or sub to my channel, there is a video on there. I did an unboxing of this thing and setting it up, and it's been killer for me. I love it. Have a good night, everyone. Hey, enjoyed hanging out with you, Dingle. Appreciate it, brother. Catch you on the next one for sure, man. Chad Wine, is YouTube your main thing? Yeah, I have a Instagram, but I've always wanted to do the YouTube thing. I've tried a couple times before and just didn't have the drive for it, but I'm really going for it this time. And part of what has done that for me is, like I said, my name K-Fish. I know there's another K-Fish in here, but it comes from my dad and his buddies did YouTube before YouTube wasn't even a thing, and they made with an old gigantic VHS camera in the 70s, like a fishing vlog of all of their travels when they were doing fishing and whatnot with them as their buddies. Is kind of a goof thing. And I have all of that now digitized and whatnot. And I have a video that I have edited very, very well, and it's been on my editing software for almost 3 years now. But I am saving it because I really want it to be like my 500 subscriber like video, and show you guys kind of why I chose the name and why I've stepped into that name as kind of like the next generation of K-Fish. So yeah, it's kind of like to pay ode to my dad and Mike, who's my fishing buddy. You'll see in a lot of my videos as well. His dad is in it as well. So parachute pants and all. You've never caught a smallmouth, man? If you haven't, I'm telling you, they are awesome fish to catch. They are my favorite, one of my favorite fish to catch, other than a salmon, obviously. I show these sometimes on people, but let me pull up a few photos for you guys. Like I said, I'm kind of running low on battery, but I'm going to take this camera off for a second. Hello. This is a smallie I caught this last year. I think it measured out at 18 inches long. It wasn't very fat, but it was a long guy, which meant that he had a lot of power. And I actually sight fished him. It was awesome. I was in the shallows, and we just kind of hung out for a little bit. And then I saw him rolling in, and I casted. It might be a thing that people think of you casting directly. If you sight fishing, when you see the fish, is you cast directly in front of them. That'll spook them. You actually want to, if you can, cast behind them and bring it in front of them, and they'll see it through the side and they'll attack that way. And that's how I got that guy. Pretty awesome fish. This was a smallmouth I caught a year before that. Now that guy was a tank, absolute football. But that was a good fight in smallmouth, and I got him on a jerkbait, and he was in a fallen tree in the water, and I just tossed it in, and I didn't even get 2 jerks in before he grabbed it, and he tried to run right back into the tree. I was quick enough to pull him away from the tree and get him out into the open a little bit, and then fought him there, but I was able to land that guy pretty good. This is we call these fire trucks. where I'm at. This is a salmon here that I caught on roe. That's is salmon eggs. That's why you see me wearing gloves there. It's a system that we could call bobber dogging. Anyway, we call them fire trucks because the red color here, once they start to turn this red color, they're usually not that great. I've gotten pretty good at being able to pick them out when I know that they're still worth like smoking and that kind of stuff. But smoked salmon is freaking delicious if you haven't had it. It's pretty plentiful here. So anyway, that's what I got there. And then kind of see on my hip, that's my bag of roe. I keep it on my hip because going back and forth from the bank, you will lose your spot sometimes. So, and then this was an early morning king salmon that I got on the rivers as well, using the same method. Actually, no, this one was on a spinner, and you can see that spinning rod reel, or I mean the bait casting reel right behind me there, and I hooked into that guy and pulled that guy out. But this was not the 26er. This was only like a 10 or 15. It was the biggest one I caught on this section of river, and it was a pretty good day because I caught it directly in front of a guy that was crowding in my spot, and he was giving me all kinds of shit, kind of being a tool bag. And then I, pulled a giant fish directly in front of him. It was a good day. All right, I'm gonna go back to the micro camera here so you guys can see better. That is my name because the letter is my first name. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, the K is part of my name as well. But they started it with K fish, so it's not like I came up with the name. Uh, 80s fashion was interesting. Yeah, it was for sure. There's quite a few videos that I have of those guys doing their stuff back in the 80s. That once I kind of hit that 500 mark and I kind of reveal the first start of that video, I can start kind of filtering them into my videos. Would be kind of fun because I fish a lot of the same waters as they used to fish too. So we can do like a now then and now kind of thing. They are such a blast. Oh, smallmouth, yeah, smallmouth are freaking blast, dude. Like I said, my favorite. There we go. I hate rude people crowd me. I try to be super respectful and go at least 150 yards from the next person on the river. Sometimes if it's crowded, I'll go about 100. Yeah, I mean, you can't let that dictate everything for you, unfortunately. Like, people are going to be people. That's why it's kind of nice if you have friends on the water and whatnot. It just you can kind of create a space for your you and your group. But I get what you're saying too. A lot of times I try and find water that I can be away from the crowds. A great tip for that, by the way, is if you can, I mean, Google Maps is a huge utilization for fishing if you haven't already started using it. Find yourself a dope section of river, and if there's farmland right in front of it, just go talk to the farmer. I've done that more than I can count. And now, when it's a really crowded day on like a public bank, I will just go hit up some of those farmland areas that I have, and there won't be a damn person in sight. It's to the point, honestly, where I actually start to worry about a little bit about black bears. Not that I'm worried about them really at all, but you just got to watch out for them.
We love to see people win.
Sorry, guys. I'm trying to find a good section of. I want to use. No, I'm going to use this. Yeah, it's going to be fine. Around here, you could be shoulder to shoulder as well. Yeah, it's. I think fishing has definitely took an uptick over the years, and good. There's good things and there's bad things about that. More people in the water means that fishing game have to kind of pay attention to you, which is good. But it can also bring crowds of people that you don't necessarily want on the river as well. So, as fishermen, I think we take it on our responsibility to kind of do what we can. Like I always take some sort of bag with me, trash bag, and as I leave, even if it's not my trash, I just kind of take it because I grew up on the section of rivers that I fish, and so I just like to, again, even if people don't, I do. Makes me feel better, I guess. I have this really thin stuff. Like, look how thin that hackle is. And this has kind of been my secret weapon to these things. I have tools for this now. I'll tie this in tail first. But before I do, I kind of like to splay it out just a little bit. Run that to the front. And I can, usually without gabbing too much stuff, see a couple hairs that don't want to fight me. Run this chenille up to the head. Ooh, easy now. Tie that off. Ray Collin, what's up, brother? Catch me kind of near the end, man. But glad you joined in either way. I keep trash bags in my truck. Always come in handy to pick up some weird stuff on the banks as well. As trash, it's sad. Yeah, like I said, you just do what you can, right? It's good. It's good karma. Yeah. See, it's good karma. Can't tell you how much trash I picked up and taken out of the rivers. I do it also because I don't want them to shut down where I fish. Exactly, man. People don't understand that. They just because it's public now doesn't mean it's going to be public forever. So, all right. Okay, now we'll lay that back in. You notice how, like, when I flayed it out and then tried to lay it back in, now it's got a little bit more profile to it? That's it. That's all I want. I know that seems super subtle, but I'm telling you, that's all I want on that. Just a little bit of hackle. Yeah, the vibrant color of it, it's just like that little bit of orange to it, but it's not. I wish it had it a little bit more black, but like I said, it's not long, right? It's not like the grizzly hackle that's going to be super long like this one and kind of overshadow the body. I like to keep that hook as open as I can. I see so many salmon sliced open for the eggs and the rest of the fish thrown into the bank to rot. Yeah, when it gets near the end of the season, when the meat isn't that great, you'll see that a lot. And that's when I get to the point of like, well, if that's what you're going for, it's probably time to stop fishing anyway. But I can't help what other people do. Hold on. Let me tie this off real quick. I've had to cast net a river to trash fish, and while I've sat and watched for me for a while, probably thinking I might be taking fish, but no, I was just after the trash. Oh yeah, I can see that. So that's called a hackle. Hackle is the type of feather that you use to create this kind of body to it. Yes. Yeah, I think so. I think this is one of my favorite flies. I think that I make. I'll use this one quite a bit. I see it the first days of the season. People have no respect. Really, they see like the taking the salmon and for the eggs. Yeah, that is seriously disrespectful. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I want to put my objective with K-Fish and my fishing channel in general is to put good vibes out there for new fishermen, but also kind of given the old school tactics of how to respect the waters, the waterways, and the fish without getting too preachy. I think that's what a lot of people kind of miss. Yes, the piece was trying to be kind of reddish orange. It's called a hackle feather. Yep, hackle feather. All right, let me glue this bad boy up. Now, doing it without the copper wire, I get more hackle to stand up and not have it laid kind of funky downward. But that hackle feather is kind of just exposed in there. So if it gets torn up, it kind of gets torn up. But that's the beauty of tying flies. You get to be a little bit more resourceful with them, and it is what it is. All right, K-Fish. Good night, brother. I'm closing up shop anyway here, so I appreciate you hanging out. What you did. Yes, the piece was trying to be kind of reddish orange. It's called yeah. Okay, read that. That looks great. Thanks, man. Thanks, Tan. Oregon, appreciate you hanging out with me, brother. I'll catch you on the flip side for sure, man. I just wanted to step on here on a Sunday, and do a couple in. But anyway, if you guys hung out this far, I appreciate it. If you haven't already, make sure that you guys subscribe. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me so far. I see a lot of new faces in here tonight, so yeah. Enjoyed all the conversating too, by the way. I really, really appreciate you guys commenting with me. So make sure you guys subscribe. Like I said, I might go live one more time at midweek. If I don't, you'll usually catch me on the weekends, whether it be Saturday or Sunday. Sometimes I had a lot of fun doing the Friday night stream too. I streamed way into the night, so maybe we'll do that again. So anyway, peace out, guys. Have a good night.